Hi everyone, this is Yelena from Amazonia PPC, and today in today's episode I have a very special guest with me, Mac Schlessinger from Bestsellers Listers. Mac is here to talk to us about product listing optimization and some of the tips and techniques that they have that are best practices when you want to get ranked on Amazon. So Mac, welcome and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, June. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here, sharing some value for you, for your audience. It's great.
Of course. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you started, and about the company and what do you do?
So about myself, my company, it's a long journey. Basically, everything went like, step by step, which happened. So basically how it started, let's say, I think I started the whole journey like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When it was like starting the whole so basically me personally I was always like the person that likes to be online. Like I think I worked on all the marketplaces like when I was a kid. Like I had my phone and I was always busy like finding stuff online, buying stuff, selling stuff. Like I had all the junk from my house. I always like to sell it online. So let's say, for example, people in my school, that when they wanted something or they wanted to sell something, they always came to me like, can you list it for me? Can you sell it for me? I mean, it wasn't a business, just like a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I grew up, started to get into business. I had some jobs. I worked in B&H Photo in New York City, whatever, a few companies. And after a while, I started feeling like the edge, like the hunger of getting out myself and start doing something and start building something for myself. So, but I didn't know how to start. I mean, I don't have any business degree or something to know where to start and where to go.
Right.
So until one day I decided, actually, I have a good friend of mine. He told me, listen, you have a lot of talent, you have a lot of knowledge. You just have to start using it. So one thing that I did, that I remember, that opened a lot of doors, which is I basically went out of my comfort zone one day. I decided I'm going to get up early morning, like 5 or 6 o'clock. And I went to a local, like a shopping mall. They had like all the big names, stores, like brand names.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there, and from when they opened the doors, I went like a full day. I went from store to store, and with a big shopping cart, and I filled up everything with all the stuff that they have. Like, they usually have by the clearance section, like everything on sale, like brand name products for half the price or more. So I had no idea what I'm gonna do with it, why I'm doing it. I just knew I have to do something to get out. So I did it, and after the day I went home. And usually when you start doing something, all the doors started opening. So then was like 10 years ago. It was the first time I started finding out about how does it called, like thrift shops. They sell all this used stuff. So I found out about that. I did some research and I found some local ones. So I went over and I did the same thing. I found some good stuff, brand name stuff, and I brought it home and I filled up my whole dining room. Everything was full of boxes and bags and papers and stuff. And I started listing them, on Amazon, not Amazon, eBay, and there's other few sites like local Craigslist and stuff. And I started getting the feel like for e-commerce, like for how to sell, how to list, how to product, like more professionally than just a hobby. As time went on, I did that for a while. Then there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't sell, obviously, so I had to either sell it for cost price. So I mean, I lost some money, but it was a good experience. So as time went on, I started to get full more hunger of getting something bigger. So I mean, let's make a long story short. I tried everything that is related to e-commerce. Like, say, I did retail arbitrage, I did drop shipping. I did everything that was possible to that is related to selling stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
And until one day I decided, what, let me settle in, let me start like a regular business, which most people started at that time, which is like selling private labels. So I decided, what, I'm gonna stick to private label. I'm gonna get. I took some courses, like the big courses, to get to know everything about importing from China,
Right.
listing on Amazon, selling on Amazon, FBA, the whole thing. And I did it like everyone else. And since I didn't have a lot of money or resources to outsource stuff, to hire people, I did everything myself. From importing, from creating the listings, from doing the actual images. I bought like a camera and the the white box and stuff. I did everything myself, and I listed like everyone else. So after a while, I started talking to people. People asking, "What do you do? What's you do?" So I told them, I sell on Amazon. So people wanted to see like how I'm doing. So I showed them like my listings and what I do, and people started to realize, well, you're actually doing a great job with creating the listing. They asked me like, who did your listing? How much did you pay? So I told them, I don't know. I did everything myself. And I didn't know there's like companies out there that you charge money for it.
Mm-hmm.
So people started to convince me that I know how to do it. That's my specialty. I should start offering for other people. But I always ignored it, because I'm not really the type of person like to go out there and do services for people and talk to people. I'm more like a quiet guy on the side doing my thing. Right. And the more time went on, more people, more friends, actually some mentors. I found good local mentors. They all convinced me like to start doing it for others as a business. At first I ignored it, and then then it started happening with people. I guess they told other people, and they came to me. They asked me for favors. Maybe I should do it for them. So I did it in the beginning. I did some favors, and that's free. And after a while, since I still had a job by then, it was hard to do it. So I decided, if you want, I can do it, but I'm gonna charge a little bit.
Right.
And by that time, someone, also one of the people that realized it, told me that there's a big company out there, a multi-million company out there that is selling on Amazon, and they need someone, and they need help, like an expert like you to revamp all the listings, like optimize all the content and the pictures and everything. So I wasn't sure first if I should take another job. I mean, after I was on my own for a while. But then I decided, I'm still young and I still need to learn. I need to build up my this. So I took the job and I did everything. I went in and I redid all the listings. Long story short, I mean, they obviously saw a big increase in sales organically because of the optimized listings. And I learned a lot there. Like I had a lot of experience. And also, as time went on, people started to ask me, and some workers in the company saw what I do, so they asked me to do it for other people. So I started doing it, and then I decided one day, you know what, I can do this myself. This is what I'm supposed to do, and this is what I like to do. And so I quit my job one day, and I started doing it. Started fulfilling the request from people. I did it for him, did it for them, and then as time went on, I see, okay, this is what I do. I'm here by myself, and I have to get business. So I started to create a business, a logo, and started to promote myself and the business. Then LinkedIn came up, and I started promoting myself there, and things happen, and here I am.
Yeah, that's the best way of learning, actually, just going through the process yourself and getting your hands a little dirty. That's the best way of learning, in my opinion. You can listen to a lot of courses and just read a lot, but still, until you get skin in the game, that's
the best experience. Yeah.
Okay, what can you tell us about product listing optimization? Before this call, we had a little chat about what we're going to talk about, and one of the topics was product titles. Like one of the first things that customers see on the search results page, and just generally tell us a little bit more what are the best practices for optimizing product titles, and also to get that initial click from that customer, and if there are any mistakes that people should avoid when they're doing their product title optimization.
Right. So product titles in specifically is I mean, generally the whole listing, the process that we do the listing is like we always try to focus on to do it like 50% for the algorithm, which is like Amazon the keywords, SEO, and 50% for human. Where I see a lot of times people doing a mistake is basically, I mean, in our company we do a lot like redo a listing. People come to us, we have the listing for a few years, it's not moving. Can you change it? So one thing we do is we realize that people are too focused on keywords like SEO keywords. You want to rank in the first page so they slice in the whole listing with keywords, and they forget that the algorithm is not going to buy your product. The people actually human being are going to buy your product, so it has to appeal to them. So obviously the 50% for the keywords is obviously it's for when, as you ask about the title, so the title is usually like obviously the first phrase. You want to make sure that it has like the main keyword phrase, and fill it up and like have like at least the top 3 phrases in the title for the algorithm, and then you have like a limit of 200 characters for most categories. You want to fill it up with like a like also like the features and the benefits of the product, and put like a small description in the title to convince people that this is the product they're looking for. For example, I'm trying to think of an example. So for example, we did like a listing for the reflective bands, the bands that you wear on your hand, your wrist, and fit for when you go out at night. So when we first got the listing was live for a while, but I saw that the seller basically put in all the keywords that relates to reflector, but it was missing like the human part of it. So trying to remember what we put in. So basically, took out some wording and we replaced it with like some description, like stay safe out there when it sounds more like a description, but this is what people want to see, like how does it relate to me. So it tells them like stay safe or be visible with our unique reflector, something like that, stuff like that. So people see, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And also regarding the features what they have on their specific reflector, you want to make sure that to point out like, at least one benefit of that in the title, not only in the bullet point description, but also in the title, because this is like the first impression. Yeah, so that's basically the title. So make like a mix, 50% for the algorithm, 50% for the human being, and it should be a success.
What is your opinion of using brand names in product titles?
Brand names, me personally, I mean, I know Amazon suggests that you should put the brand name into this, but for me, I think it's a waste of, first of all, it's a waste of character space, especially if you have like a long brand name. And second of all, usually most people put it in the front end, but the problem is that when you search on Amazon, especially on the mobile side, you can only see like the first few words. So
right.
You don't want to take away the attention from as I mentioned before, like the keyword and the benefit, and waste it with your brand name, because most people have no idea what your brand name, and they don't really care what your brand name is unless it's a big brand. So usually I don't like to put the brand name, especially not in the first part of the title. I rather fill it out with a good keyword phrase and then right away like a benefit. So when someone goes in, they can see right away, okay, this is what I'm looking for. So let me go in there.
Yeah, for some reason they have recommended the usage of brand name as the first word in the title, but then again, if you don't have a lot of search volume in your brand name, then it makes no sense to use it, especially now that they have narrowed down the number of characters that you're allowed to use. So
right. Especially some categories, you can only put like 80 characters, which is much
yes,
more important.
So limiting. How do you get around that? How do you approach when you have like 80 characters? What do you do?
Yeah, you can't really do much. You can basically do the same, like put like a phrase and then like a one main feature of the product, which is doing the real sale.
Right. Okay. And about bullet points, do you have any advice for us? How do we make the most out of bullet points? Like, for example, we know for sure that in consumer psychology also, the most effective way to present some information to customers is to group it in 4 or 5 chunks. That's something that Amazon probably already knows, which is why they introduced bullet points. But when it comes to copywriting around bullet points, that's maybe one of the best areas for improvement that a lot of people don't really use or aren't even aware of. So what can you tell us? Tell us a little bit more about bullet points optimization.
Yeah, so bullet points is the same thing, which is also should be more. I mean, obviously, it's also a great space to put in like keywords for SEO, but mostly it's for the human aspect, which gives you like 5 bullet points, and that 5 bullet points should give them like right away like 5 main benefits. So usually we try to focus on the benefit of the product versus the features. Like usually we start the bullet points with a few capital words, and then you continue the small. So those caps words shouldn't be like your feature, like 100% cotton or stuff like that. It should be rather like a benefit. For example, the reflector that I mentioned before, it has like let me see. I'm trying to remember the. So basically, for example, it has like a feature like a Velcro instead of a belt. You know, usually Hosel has like a belt, but this one has like a Velcro, which is much easier. So instead of writing Velcro design, which most people do, you write like conveniently put I don't know exactly the word, but basically take it off, put it on like conveniently like in a hurry. So usually people that run or those they don't have time to take a break and do all this belt stuff. They want to take all the Velcro on and off. So I read the point in the big words like conveniently, quickly put it on and off and something like that. Then in the small description in that bullet points, we write about the Velcro design. So we basically switch the feature to the benefit. Same thing is with like a strong. It has a very strong reflector. Don't write like a very strong reflector. You know, better write like stay safe during the dark nights out there with our super strong reflector or whatever technology.
Do you adjust the copy according to the audience? Like if there's, there are certain products that never have a niche, like, spatulas and plastic cups and stuff like that. But also there are products that are very much designed for a specific audience. So how do you approach audience targeting through copywriting?
Oh, the audience, like specific.
Like,
I mean,
yeah. So basically, when you mentioned emphasizing the benefits, so do you use some specifics of the audience? Maybe some of the people will prefer mentioning Velcro design if that material is important to them, if they know really what it means. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, usually we try not to focus too much on the target because people that are not really the target for their product are not really looking for the listing. So once they're in the listing, it means that it's for them. They're looking for it. For example, the reflective event is more it's made for athletes or people that do exercise at night or they stuff like that. So once they're in the listing, they're looking for their product. You know that they're already there. So you don't have to tell them that it's for them, like for as a target audience. I mean, obviously we make sure to mention that it's great for athletes, it's great for runners and bikers and stuff like that. But try not to focus too much on that. And try to mainly to focus on the benefits in general, because if they are there in the listing, they're looking for their product. They're most probably the target audience anyway.
I see. Do you use any emojis in bullet points? I forgot to ask, but I've seen some people do that.
Yeah, so we have that option. I mean, we have a big database of all kinds of emojis. So usually we try to match the emoji with the product. So let's say they're listing for cups. We add a cup, or I mean, so we have the option. I mean, but it's flexible. Some clients don't like it, some don't want it. I mean, it's optional. You can leave it. You can put it. It's up to them.
Is that within TOS?
So officially, they say you shouldn't, they should that, but it's basically the same idea as putting the branding on the front of the title, you know? They recommend you to do it, but it's not really, you can get away with it. So I personally feel that it's beneficial to put the emoji because the way Amazon has the bullet points on the page, it looks like very squeezed, like one bullet point next to each other. So it's like looks like one whole description. It's very hard to read. Yeah. So when you put the emojis, it gives them like, okay, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So some people don't like it because it looks too colorful to this, but whatever, it's up to them. Flexible.
Yeah, it depends. If you have a very serious product, then it might be better to avoid it. And if you're selling to women or maybe your target group is kids, it might make sense to be more colorful.
Right. For games and toys, it's usually
yes. Yeah. Interesting point. About the product descriptions, can you tell us a little bit more how you do it? What are the best practices, and do you have like a structure in place that you always use, like a recipe for a good product description? What would it be?
Yeah, so description obviously there's 2 types. One is the basic one, which is the just text, and the other one is like the A+, which is E/EBC. So let's talk about the basic one, the HTML description. So usually when it comes to description, there's a few things that it's important to point out. So first of all, the first thing is, on Amazon, the description is usually like very wide from page to page, one side. If you have like a big computer,
Yeah.
it's very hard to read like the whole description from one side to the other. So with the HTML codes, you can break it up. So usually we try to, when we do the listing, we try to keep it like on one side, like the full description on one side. We break up the lines, so it shouldn't be like too long. And basically, in general, we try to make it like very easy to read, and people should understand. Like it should be fun to read. So usually we start the description with like 2 or 3 pain point questions about the product, like to convince them that, you know, and so people should say, yeah, that's exactly me. That's and then we answer that this product is their solution. And then we continue with like a few paragraphs of what the product does, and maybe about the brand and 2, 3 main features about their product, and then we always make sure to have like a section of a list of, let's say, 5 or 10 bullet points, like short to the point, which is like like all the specs, the dimensions, the colors, and the features, like a list. So if someone wants to see, okay, I want to see all the features, give me a list. So they go there, you can see them like right away, like a list of all of this. And obviously, then at the end, we finish it with a good call to action, you know, to make sure that they don't leave the page without buying. And, you know, they shouldn't waste any time long to go search for it on Amazon. This is what you need, this is what you want, and convert to the sale.
I read somewhere that, you know, when you choose different fonts, which can happen when you use HTML, you can actually slow down reading. Do you use like any different fonts or just the regular?
No, the fonts, we don't change the fonts. We only do like bold, like basically, when we do this, it's like a combination of a few paragraphs. So before each paragraph, put like a title on top of each paragraph. And the title is usually in bold. Then it looks like the bullet points, you know, like a small title, and then the description explaining the title. And then it makes it very easy to read, like to know that this description is about this product. So if you don't care about this feature, you don't have to bother reading it. So it makes it very appealing.
And how do you find the inspiration for writing product descriptions? Ideas, what to, well, basically, how do you find ideas what to write in the product description to make it interesting, aside from, you know, mentioning product features?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's part of doing research to see what people are doing, like writing a feature, mentioning about the product. And the main point is, which I also train my employees and the writers, you should always think like a customer, you know, like get out of the emotional part of the product. Just think about a customer. If you go on Amazon and you're looking for their product, what exactly do you want to see? So you know, we always try to write it as is, and also like you know, when I hire like writers for my agency, I don't just hire like good copywriters. I hire people that are actually salespeople. You know, when you walk into a store, they can sell you anything. So same things with the description. When they write the description, even though it's a plain basic product that doesn't really, you can't really tell anything, they find ways to make it really sell with a good sales copy.
Yeah, copywriting is practically one of the refined ways for sales. One of the, you know, basically. Okay. I also wanted to ask you about A+ content. You mentioned that there are 2 ways, and the other one is A+ content. What can you tell us a little bit more about that? You mentioned IP Accelerator that you use, and that would be a great thing to mention to our listeners too.
So the IP Accelerator. So first of all, A+, you know, as you know, it's which is very important. It gives like a very good brand recognition, and in general, it has like a lot of benefits. You can explain the product in much more detail visually and with text, and the whole thing. Explain like the whole product in one section, like a one box. You can see everything. So obviously, some people that can they don't have brand registry, or they can't take advantage of that. Which I told you before, I think it's called it's IP Accelerator. I have to find the link. So you put it in the description. There's a link where you can do the trademark. Although usually a trademark takes like a year, so you don't want to wait a year to you know, to be able to have brand registry. So if you do it through them, I think it's like a group of lawyers, attorneys that work with Amazon. It's like official Amazon thing. And if you do it through them, even though you're not yet approved for the trademark, you can still they approve you for brand registry. So it takes like 2 weeks. You can have brand registry and enjoy all the benefits that comes along with it. Like the A
So
plus.
mhm. So basically, you don't have to wait like a whole year to get trademarked and then
Exactly.
enjoy the benefits of A plus content.
Mm-hmm.
And in your experience, what are the best practices to create A plus content?
So A plus content, I mean, obviously Amazon has their own, usually have their own like a few options of
Layout.
So we usually try to not to follow any of those. We usually do like the custom, they have like the custom option.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually create a custom option according to the product, like which we figure out which layout will be the best for that product. So usually we start obviously the logo on top, all the way on the top. That gives you like the first thing, and then we start with the first big banner. Usually when you go onto a website or any website, the first thing on the website is like a big banner that tells you exactly right away, in general, like what the company is doing. So the same thing is with a product. You put like a big banner for either a lifestyle photo of the product and someone is using it, and on the side you put like the title of the product and then like a slogan. But then instead of putting like the name of the product, we put like also like a benefit. For example, I'm trying to think of something. For example, we did recently like a cream, like a face cream, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of writing a big, this is whatever the name is, face cream, right? Like we write it like in big, like the #1 solution for beautiful purified skin. Then we write in small, whatever the name of the product is. So this is the first impression. This is the first thing, and then we go further down. Like we make another banner, which is mentions all the features
Mm-hmm.
of the product, like zoomed in features, and then on the bottom we have like the small images. We put like a small image of each feature, and then on the bottom is like text explaining that feature, and then on the bottom, all the way on the bottom, like put like a big footer, like a call to action or just about the brand. Like it's more like a branding aspect of the product, the listing.
I see. And how important is the copy inside of the A plus content?
So the copy is not really, I mean, nobody really knows about the indexing if it's really this, but usually we try not to focus much on the keywords in the A plus. I mean, we always add something, but we try more to focus on the graphics, on the visual parts of it. I don't know if you saw my sample, but when you see it, like you can see, like it's like it looks like a full web page, like on the homepage. You can see everything in one, like the graphics, and we try not to put a lot of text, and people don't have the patience to read all this huge. I see sometimes A plus content, like a small image and then a lot of text on the side, and another small image, a lot of text. It's not really the way. I'd rather use the space for like nice visual graphics and put some wording here and there, but don't fill it up with a lot of so many words.
And do you use maybe alt text inside of those images, the graphics that you mentioned?
Yeah, so we put in wording on the images. So it's because when you put it on the images, you have much more flexibility with the fonts and the size of the text and the style of the text. So you can play around with it, and you don't have to follow Amazon's. Because if you just copy paste it into the Amazon sections where you can put a text, it's just basic text. So also you can make like a nice graphic, like a nice infographic with forms or charts, and it's essentially one image which you upload in A plus, but in that one image there's a lot of it looks like a chart it's supposed to be in it.
Yeah, and there's this another tip that I heard somewhere, which is putting alt text inside of in the back end of the images, which practically means putting keywords like a descriptive words, what the image is, which helps ranking from that part, keyword optimization. So that's like another thing that a lot of sellers don't realize they can do, and it actually helps. Same way like you optimize for SEO on Google by adding alt text to your images, you can actually use that part for your ranking on Amazon as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's like something that a lot of people don't know. So when it comes to images in general, do you have any advice for people that are doing it themselves, for example, that don't use a product photographer, having your own experience in place, what is the thing that they can do with a regular camera and just the product?
Yeah, so when it comes to like the main images on the listing, obviously the first thing is the main image, which is officially through Amazon, it has to be like just the product with the white background, which is nice, but you know, everyone is doing it. So when you go on Amazon and search for a product, if everyone has the same product, same white background, you know, it doesn't really tell anything. So if you want to be ahead of everyone, you got to be a little bit, step a little bit out of the box and do a little bit more, even though it's not this. So usually you can do it by adding like you know, all those icons about either a benefit like BPA free, or
Quality
if you have any specific, if you have any specific feature that you put in a lot of work, you know, during the manufacturing of the product, make sure to have it on the main image so people can see it right away, because this is like the first impression. So don't be afraid to like add something. I mean, it should be white background definitely, but you can add like a few, 2 or 3 small things that will actually convert into the sale.
I also heard that using faces in your product images really helps capture the attention of the audience. Like,
yes,
people associate with faces because of the facial recognition. They like the product more.
Right. So basically, the image is very important. I mean, people I see many times people they focus a lot on good photography, which is like very clear, very sharp, but that doesn't really make the sale. The main thing is that on Amazon, you know, it's not like you go into a store, you can see or feel the product. You basically have to be convinced on the photos, and a lot of people don't have patience to read like title, bullet points. They look at the images, whatever they see there, and make a decision. So it's very important to take advantage of the secondary images like this, and to make a combination, you know, of a few lifestyle images, obviously to show how the product is being used, to feel like all angles and how it's being used. So when you instead of walking to a store and like actually using the product, you can imagine yourself like you're holding it or you're using it. Is very important, and also the infographics, which to make sure that everything that you mentioned in the bullet points in the description, for those people that don't read it, make sure that it's all in the images so they don't miss it. And you can also describe the product so well, like zoom in the feature, put in the right words, put in like a nice title on top of the image to like a sales pitch, something like that, and basically to convince people only through the images. And yeah, so you know, I heard from many people. I don't have patience to read all those bullet points. Even though it's short to the point bullet points, it's too much words. You know, when you go into Amazon page, you see so many images, all those recommended listings. There's so much going on a listing, and so they only look at the images. So it's very important, like to describe every feature, every benefit, and all the lifestyle, everything that in the images. So usually, general rule, we try to do like at least 7 images, like 1 main image and 6 graphic images.
Yeah, trying to tell a story through imagery, like, you know, like average attention span right now on the internet is about between 8 and 12 seconds, actually. And, you know, there's always going to be people who like to read, who like to get more details about something, and then you have to have a copy that's really like killing off. But at the same time, you have to have wonderful creatives, visual assets that'll help you, you know, transcend the message to your customers about the product. So some of them won't even have patience for imagery. They will want to have a look at the video, perhaps if you have video, multiple videos instead. And I've seen a lot of sellers also create GIFs out of these videos because it's more interactive. It keeps their attention on the listing and not let them go away from the listing, which is also good things.
Video is also good. I mean, lately I've seen it. I mean, it costs a lot of money to make like a professional video, a lifestyle video. So I mean, so we have one option which can do. It's a semi video. It's considered a photo. It's like a 360 image. It's like a video. We can see the whole product from angle to angle. So which is instead, if you don't want to spend for the video, you spend like a little bit less money and have like a nice 360 image. like a video, but you can see the whole product from all angles.
I haven't seen that a lot on Amazon, but it's actually brilliant. Like, it's also endorsing that interactivity with the brand, with the
Mm-hmm.
product listing. But I haven't seen a lot of sellers do it. Is it because it's difficult to set up, or?
No, it's not really difficult. I mean, obviously, not everyone can have video in general. I mean, you have to brand registry and also this,
Yes.
and most people don't even know about it. I mean, lately, I offered it to a few clients, and they were like surprised. Oh wow, you can do this! People don't know about it, so we have to. I mean, it's very beneficial. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars for thousands of dollars for a nice video. You can have like for a couple, like $200, $300. You can have like a nice 360 image. It's like a video, and the customer can see exactly the product from top to bottom, from side to side. It's very good.
And until you have enough money to invest in those visual assets like videos,
Mm-hmm.
would you advise people to just go ahead and make like an amateur video by themselves, just to put something that has that kind of interactive moment to it in the listing?
I mean, it depends. Some people like it. Some people it depends on the person. Some people want to be professional. Everything has to be perfect. So if it's not, they're not gonna put it up. But at the other point, customers like to see like a more generic stuff versus professional stuff because they want to see like a. I've seen it sometimes. People they get like video reviews. Like a video. Someone just got a product. And they put like a video
Yeah.
of the product. They put it on the top of the images. But it gives it like a very very natural. Point of view, which you can actually see once you get the product at home. This is how it's going to look. This is how it's going to feel. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like with the whole production and stuff. I mean, it's good, but if you don't want to spend the money, you can get away with it.
I think so too. Yeah, and if you still want to be professional and do this right, and then wait out for the right moment to invest in a product video, you can
Mm-hmm.
maybe ask for a friend or family, which is against DOS, but ask for someone to leave a review, like a social proof with the video, because I know for sure that a lot of customers appreciate that. Just make sure you do it in a careful manner
Mm-hmm.
because of the rules that Amazon giving
Yeah.
us. Also about the backend search terms, this is one of the topics we haven't covered yet. What do you do when you optimize backend search terms?
So the backend search terms is, which I've seen a lot of people do a mistake, is basically they also try. I mean, it's very known like the search terms have a big impact on the keyword search. So they put in all the keywords again, over again, like phrases and stuff. I mean, since Amazon limited the character space to 249, 250, it's a waste of space if you redo the same thing. So usually what we do is, we have like the whole process on how we create a listing. Basically, we try to put all the keywords that is really relevant to the product. We try to fill it up in the front end, like the title and the bullet points mainly. And all of the rest, like the backend search terms, is only like 249 characters. We try to put like keywords that are not really your product, but it's related to your product. For example, I'm trying. There's like many categories which has like a product that is related to each other. For example, if you're selling swimming product, right? Swimming, you sell like swimmer goggles. Usually, when someone needs swimmer goggles, they also need like a nose clip. They also need like a swim cap and other stuff. So
Yeah.
basically what we do is, so let's say you're selling swimmer goggles. I'm not gonna put, again, swimmer goggles in the backend search terms. Rather, put like swim cap or nose clip or swimming gear, stuff like that. That when someone is searching for a nose clip, they should also see, I mean, like a bundle with your goggles, because it's the same thing like the retail stores. Retail stores
Yeah.
usually they put like the whole category. They put like one product next to each other to convince you that if you're looking for that product, you should also buy that product, which is related, and you also need it down the road. So the same thing is with that. I mean, you want to make sure not to put like a totally irrelevant, because then the search results will be not so relevant, which is not good. But only if it's really related, like which you can buy it as a bundle. Like you buy a swim goggles, you buy it together with a swim cap, with a nose clip, all together, and you have it all in the back end. And also which is kind of important. I mean, it's known, but most people don't do it, which is like putting like misspelled words in the back end. I mean, although I'm a very professional speller, I know how to spell every word mostly. But still, you know, when I type on my phone, I want to buy a product on Amazon. I'm not really like looking at the spelling. I just type it. And usually on the phone, it happens a lot where you mistype a word, like you put one letter in O. Then it's always good to. It happens a lot, and it happens to everyone. So that's why it's always good to have like misspelled words, or at least for the main one or main two main keyword phrases. So if someone is accidentally hitting the wrong spelling, your product should come up instead of others.
So basically, you know, backend search terms would be like an alternative strategy to get ranked for all those additional placements. When someone's misspelling a word, you will show up. When when your products are on the product detail pages of competitors, maybe you will show up in the frequently bought section because you added all those additional upsell products, similar to, like you said, offline retail stores, which is very smart. Do you use any synonyms in backend search terms?
Yeah, so that's also what I want to say. So most words, like most product, have like many different names how you can call the product. I don't know anything on top of my head, but it's very obvious. So when there's a lot of words how you can call like a certain product. So usually the obvious words, like the general words, you put in the front end. This is how most people call it. And then there's some words that people call it in let's say in England, you know, which is also English, but it's not English. So you want to make sure that for those people that use different words for that product, it should also come up. So you put all those synonyms in the back end.
Interesting. Mac, do you have anything else that you wanted to share with us today in today's episode? Something to have sellers keep in mind when they're optimizing their product listings or about selling in general?
Yeah, I mean, optimizing listing we just spoke about, which is this. But regarding selling on Amazon, I don't know. I don't want to be the one that discourages people or sellers, stuff like that. But I want to be honest at the same time. So for me, my advice, especially for new sellers, you know, people that are starting out now, people have to know that it's 2020 now, and it's no longer the Amazon of, I don't know, 2015, 2014, whatever, when it used to be easy. When you just slap in a product, you put it on with your basic listing, with your basic photos, and they used to sell right away. And you used to be able to get reviews quickly, so it's totally different. And people are used to the fact that Amazon is like a make money quickly, which is this. And that's how people get into it. That people they don't want to have a job, or they don't have a job. They think they will get rich quick. But the problem is, it's no longer like that. These days selling on Amazon is like a real business. You know, the same thing. If you want to open any other business, like a painting business or whatever, like a local store, you don't want to open it because you don't want to invest money. You don't want to wait till you start making money. Amazon is the same thing these days. It's like a real business. If you're not ready for the consequences of owning a business, running a business, then I don't know if you're ready to sell on Amazon these days, to be honest, because it requires a lot of patience. You have to be very patient and waiting, because it takes a few months till you start seeing like the results, like to start making profit. So you have to be ready, like mentally, like knowing what to expect, and be ready to have the consequences that comes along with selling on Amazon. You know, all those rules changes and all the negative stuff, and also be ready financially. You know, because you will have to be ready to spend a lot of money. You know, this is the game, which is it's a pay to play. If you pay, you can play. If you're not ready to pay, you can't play the game. So it's you have to be ready to spend the money that requires, you know, and compete with all the sellers that are there for years already, people with big budgets. If you're not ready for that, I mean, I don't want to tell you to stop or give up, but I just want to make you aware that you have to be ready. You have to be willing to accept the challenges that comes along the way.
Okay, thank you for being our guest today, and thank you for sharing all these valuable advice. If anyone should be interested in contacting you, they can reach out to you on LinkedIn, and I will also leave a link below in our video description to Mac's website so you can see learn more about their services.
Yeah, and definitely, and thank you. It's my pleasure being here and sharing my value and my time. But and also, if you have your audience like that, I'm sure they're Amazon sellers and they're always looking for more advice, more help. They can obviously can always reach out to me. And also, if they have WhatsApp, I have like the WhatsApp program where they have like the status and stuff. So usually I try to be active with it to provide my value every day, which people are connecting with me, and I usually share like the latest news from Amazon on my statuses, the latest updates, if there's any changes, any rule changes or anything. I usually post it there so people, like sellers, can stay connected and get updated, to be on top of the game every day. So I don't know, maybe if you want to share it and people can connect. And also I send out like every month, every week actually, like a weekly. It's not like a generic newsletter, a boring newsletter. It's more like I send out like a recap of everything that went on in Amazon, like any rule changes, any news related to Amazon. And if there's any new shows, like there's everything, anything valuable for sellers, you send it out like every week, whatever, so people can connect and stay on top of the game.
We'll make sure to share all the relevant links in our video description so that people can stay in touch and follow you. Thank you for being our guest on the show today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye-bye.